things that we can begin to do on spot. So while I was just brainstorming prayerfully that what should I share, initially I wanted to talk about the seeing eyes and the hearing ears. So I felt like that would sound too spiritual, like we're going into another Bible study. But I wanted us to talk about something that would relate to life in general. So I won't waste most of our time. I want to try as much as possible to be done by 7:05 because I have a meeting to attend to. I want to talk about how to choose your relationships. Now, how to choose your relationships. I'm not talking. It's not opposite sexting like we did in February, all through the month of February. No. So, but then I've realized that in life there are some things that you would never accomplish if you don't have the proper relationship in your life. I've come to realize that also one of the reasons why many people won't succeed in life is because of the association they keep. The kinds of people that you run with will determine if at the end of the day you'll be ruined or you'll be made. How to choose your relationships. For those of you who are still asking, when I was in secondary school, J1, J2, J3, I used to be very playful. I was very addicted to soccer, football to be precise. My dad used to be a coach, local coach, of course, not the international one. So I was addicted to playing football. I broke my hand at some point. All sorts of injuries that got me bedridden for months. At some point, it became a very serious prayer point. My mom was literally praying for me to be delivered because she felt like there was a spell that had been cast on me because of soccer. And I wasn't doing so well at school. J1, 20 something, me that before I left primary school, my last position was I think third or fourth. So I looked so promising. But when I entered secondary school, government school, we were about, we have GSS 1A to GSS 1H or I. And in one class, we were about 70 something. So imagine in that 70 something, my first position, as far as I could remember, was 24th. That was second term, first term. I got home, I chopped beatings. I'm going somewhere with my story. I was seriously dealt with by my dad, and I told them I would do well. And indeed, I did well. Third term J1, I went to 28. Of course, I got home again, and then I chopped beatings. So J2, second term again, the result came out. This time around, I'd gone to 31st. J2 third term. Now I'm going somewhere. But something happened. We got to SS1, and then I changed my association. I just love the way some group of guys carry themselves. I love the way they move, the way they talk. When they speak, when one of the guys, when he speaks so intelligently. I was like, Alpha Lekon, we used to know you before we went on a long vacation that transited us into SS1. What happened? What changed? We got to SS1, the guy had so changed. Now they now have a group, they moved. Like everybody admires them. Like when they are coming, they're like, They went for debates, they were just doing signs and wonders and all of that. So, guess what happened? I forced myself into the association. Yeah, I forced myself. It might look like I was more like the not so smart of them, but guess what? It affected my result. SS1, the first result I had, I was fourth out of about 80 something people in class. Going to third term, I failed to, I took second. My friends in science department started coming around to tell me that, why don't you come to science department and all of that, blah, blah, blah. So I realized that when you change your association, it has the ability to have a great impact in your output. In your output. When I started, I mentioned something, that one of the reasons why many people will not go far is because of the association that they move around with. It's that simple. Many years ago, of course, I grew up in Ikorodu, one of the ghetto environments. Face me, I slap your house. We had just one toilet, we were about 20 something in the house. But in that house, there is this particular girl. She was the smartest. In fact, she was going to one of the best schools as at then. When I mean best schools now, that school is known for giving difficult assignments, classwork. For you to be going to that school, the day my mom just made a mistake and say, let me even put you in this school. The former school I was taking fourth, they put me in that school like this, almost second to the last position. My mom returned me to that former school. The subject, everything was so difficult. But this girl succeeded in that school. In fact, in their family, there are about 6, all ladies. She happens to be the second to the last born, and she was, as a then, they knew her to be the hope of the family. Very smart, very intelligent. She does not cut corners. She does not. Even then, we were very wayward. I was still a Muslim then. We were looking for ways to sleep with her, but she didn't budge. Meanwhile, the remaining 5 girls, oh my God. Oh my God. They have been sampled. They've played about, done a lot of things. Long story cut short. A few years down the line, I was asking my mom, how about this girl? Like, she was the hope of the family. By now, she should be doing very well. My mom said, no. I said, what happened? And then my mom began to tell me the entire thing that happened. Eventually, they rub off on her. She was highly influenced. And because of that influence, it affected her output. So at the end of the day, she had a birthday, and in that birthday, about 5 guys were breaking bottles. Nami they date him, Nami they marry him, Nami they date him, Nami they marry. That was how it all started. This was a girl that was very decent, smart, irresistible. Before we know it, my mom said she has given birth to 2. You say, what happened to school? God has given each and every one of us free will. Moses said to them, he said, today, this day I lay before you life and death. Pick. But the promise was ministry. What many people call freedom is actually their